Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding San Francisco and how Democrats are cleaning house. They're getting rid of homeless encampments, they're getting rid of the public drug markets, and sanitizing their metro system, all ahead of an international summit where world leaders and CEOs will gather. Basically, they're embarrassed with what their cities look like. They're embarrassed with what San Francisco looks like, and it is their fault. And we're going to break everything down for you. Before we jump into any of that, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. And lastly, share this link with your friends and family all over social media. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, it says here, San Francisco officials reportedly cleared out areas of the city occupied by homeless camps and public drug markets before top world leaders and CEOs and tens of thousands of other attendees arrived in the Bay Area for the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, also known as APEC. Basically, Democrats are embarrassed with what they've created in their cities. They're embarrassed of the crime. They're embarrassed of the drugs. They're embarrassed of the homeless. They're embarrassed with the fecal matter that's all over their streets, which is why they have a poop app. And if you opened up that poop app, you wouldn't see anything other than brown because the city is browned out. There is so much poop, which is why I said they are sanitizing the city as we speak. It is wild. In a nutshell, they're just putting a Band-Aid on this. This is no different than Joe Biden flying to the southern border. I think it was like El Paso about a year ago, where 24 hours before he landed, there was thousands of illegal aliens in the streets. There was homeless encampments there. There was people smuggling drugs through the area right there. And then all of a sudden, just he arrives and poof, everything's clean. Not an illegal immigrant in sight. You couldn't see a tent in sight either. He never saw an illegal alien. He never spoke to an illegal immigrant. Nothing of the sort. Because Democrats don't know how to run things, and they'd rather shove everything under the bed when mom tells you to do something, but you're late to do it. So when you throw everything under the bed, when she comes in to look around, oh, everything's clean. But in actuality, it isn't. You're just masking the problem. That's exactly what happened at the southern border. That's exactly what's happening in these Democrat-ran cities, is they are embarrassed. And so they're shoving everything under the rug really quick. So when these world leaders show up, it seems that everything is A-okay. Look how great Democrats run things. But in actuality, it isn't. APEC, known as the Super Bowl of world economies, it's holding its 2023 leaders meeting in San Francisco this year between November 11th and the 17th. The summit includes leaders of 21 countries and regions, including President Joe Biden, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Quote, I know folks are saying, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming to town. This comes from California Governor Gavin Newsom, who also wants to be president. Said Friday as reported by Fox News. That's true because it's true. But it's also true for months and months and months before APEC. We've been having conversations. Quite frankly, man, you've been having conversations for years, which is why you've spent upwards of billions and billions of dollars on a problem that basically just exacerbate because you have your wealthy elites in these nonprofits. And so when you shell out billions of dollars to them, it goes directly into their pockets. It doesn't actually solve the issue whatsoever. As homeless encampments, open air drug markets, yes, for those that didn't know this and live outside of California, you can freely just have drug markets where you get syringes and you can, secondhand pass around drugs and sell them freely and nothing happens to you. Yeah, that's California. It sounds so outlandish that it seems like satire, but it's not. That's just the way Democrats run things. And crime continues to sweep some areas of the city. Crime is so bad that you have entire malls being carved out because these businesses don't want to do business in these areas anymore. So they'd rather go to red areas because it's business friendly. Internal emails obtained by San Francisco Chronicle showed city officials were, quote, concerned about historical encampments that are close to priority areas and needed to format a plan to, quote, stay on top of the growing encampments. It's just getting worse, but don't worry. Gavin Newsom's having conversations about it, guys, because conversations just solve everything. I'd rather see action than conversation, or maybe both. Several videos circulating on social media appear to show various sidewalks cleared by homeless encampments and individuals with some portions blocked off with barricades or covered with brand new planters where tents once stood. So here's a few video clips on the Twitter, also known as X, of all this shenanigans. This one says homeless San Francisco.
Here we are, downtown San Francisco. And as you can see, They got it blocked off. I'm not a big fan of these barricades. It's sad our country's not safe enough. It's sad they got to put up barricades. Can only imagine how the economy are.
Well, it's sad because it's Democrat ran, my friend. This is all Democrat ran areas where they're locking up freaking coffee grinds, bud. They're locking up Aunt Jemima maple syrup, ketchup and mustard. That's Democrat ran areas for you. It says here, for those on audio, San Francisco's homeless population was entirely cleared out for Xi Jinping. Folks, we got more. Just one moment. It is so bad in Democrat ran areas that even the communists would look at it and go, holy crap, this is bad. If the communists are looking at your area and going, this is pretty bad, it is probably pretty bad. For Xi visit, San Francisco cleared out our homeless and put about 100 new planters. It's amazing what happens if government wants to actually fix things, or if, Democrats actually want to vote in the right way for politicians that have their interests set out for them in the right way. But Democrats would rather help people break crimes than actually help law-abiding citizens better the area and make it safe for them. So here's all the planters. Looks kind of cheap to me if you ask me. It looks like they went to Home Depot. Folks, for those on audio, like these old, almost looks like aluminum bathtubs that they have? They basically bought a bunch of bathtubs that are made of metal. And, they kind of look like the shape of like a Hostess Ho-Ho or a Twinkie. And they just filled it with soil and put some plants in there. I mean, that just looks ghetto. But that's San Francisco for you. It's all last minute. So it's a done up job. It's all facade. It's all smoke and mirrors. A local Fox affiliate said areas of the city look noticeably cleaner with far fewer homeless encampments. I thought they cared about the homeless. I thought Republicans were bigots and all these other things for wanting to clear homeless, but I guess it's okay all of a sudden. We always see that double standard, right? Where it's always a great example showing the southern border. When Trump tries to fix the southern border, it's all racist. He's a bigot and all these other things, xenophobe. But when Joe Biden makes things at the border even worse, then all of a sudden it's okay. If he deports illegal aliens or immigrants, it's not sexist. It's not a bigot. He's not a racist or anything like that. It's just completely fine. Everything's ass backwards with Democrats. Folks, I do not hate Democrats. I just want to make that clear because sometimes it seems like, wow, this guy, that's all he does is hound Democrats. I hound Democrats with the areas that they're most stupid in. They do some things correct. I know it's far and few between, but a lot of Americans, half the country are Democrats. Of course I don't. Most of my friends are Democrats. I grew up in California. I grew up with leftists. Of course I have friends that are Democrats. The vast majority of my friends are Democrats. But that doesn't mean I hate them. I mean, we get along with the vast majority of things outside of politics. I mean, politics is one small pocket of your life. We talk about food, video games, sports, movies, all that stuff. So I don't hate Democrats. I just don't like how a lot of things they're exacerbating goes against the very things that I think we need to fix. My two biggest issues are the economy, especially the debt crisis that's going on, and then also the border crisis that's happening in our foreign policy. Those three right there, Democrats, I think, handle very poorly. I think conservatives handle a lot better. Notice I didn't say Republicans because Republicans don't handle things very well either when it comes to the debt limit. That's one of the qualms I had with Trump. I'm a conservative. I'm a registered Republican, but I am a fiscal conservative. We need to figure out this debt, folks, because we just got shellacked again on our credit rating, if you didn't hear. Check this out. According to local media, and federal injunction requires the city to provide adequate shelter for homeless individuals after removing their tents from public areas. Although the city did not set up new shelters specifically for individuals impacted by the International Summit, it opened a 30-spot overnight winter shelter and has been working on adding 300 beds to some of the existing shelters. So not only is this probably being taken out of taxpayers' wallets for this whole summit, but now it's even getting more expensive because Democrats didn't want to keep things together over the course of a decade or two. And over the course of the last decade or two, things have gone so south down there that now they have to spend a ton of money to clean the area. And now we're spending even more money on homeless by having to house these people and shelter these people, of which probably shouldn't have been on the streets in the first place. I'm not saying we shouldn't take care of them. That is not what I'm saying. We should take care of them, but you letting them stay on the streets, openly do drugs, openly get naked in front of little girls and little boys, defecate everywhere, is not helping them. I know Democrats think it is because they have a heart of empathy. Their heart of empathy is not doing anything. If anything, it's exacerbating the problem. The data says so. The data says so. It is not helpful to give somebody drugs and free syringes and say, oh, well, at least you're doing it in a safe area of the city. If that sounds mind-boggling to you, it's because it is, you guys. It's because it is. Somehow people will rationalize themselves into something that's illogical and make it seem like it's logical in their own mind. Quote, the daily allotment will vary throughout the conference, Cohen told the Chronicle in an email. But we are making every effort to maximize shelter capacity across our portfolio for the community to access during APEC and ongoing. You're going to see the same thing when we have the Olympics here in Southern California, because there's homelessness everywhere. Like I mentioned, I've said this so many times, we have a quarter of the nation's homeless population in Los Angeles. And the Olympics are coming up very, very soon. So they'll pretend like they care about the homeless, but when push comes to shove, they don't care about the homeless. The Chronicle reported the city's effort to clear the encampment is an attempt to avoid a repeat of 2016, where it hosted Super Bowl 50 at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. Aside from airing the game, the outlet noted that TV broadcasts had focused on the city's homeless crisis along Division Street, which presented a major civic black eye for the Bay Area, meaning they were embarrassed. Democrats were embarrassed with the way they were handling everything. As I mentioned, the analogy of you come home and the house is a mess going, we have friends coming over, we got to clean the place up. Your kid doesn't want to clean the place up, and so they shove everything under the rug to make it seem like everything's fine, or they shove it in the closet, when in reality, the ish should have been clean the entire time. Once OPEC is gone, police presence will start to simmer down again. The tents will return, and it will slowly flare up once again. It's just going to be a revolving issue. I find it so amazing that they are so concerned with this and things are so bad that when you have foreign leaders come in, like Xi Jinping, a communist, he would be like, this is unacceptable. How are people living like this? Things are so bad that the communists are literally looking at it going, holy crap, that's bad. That's Democrat-ran areas for you. You'd be better off living in a communist-ran country than you would living in a Democrat-ran area. If you haven't already, folks, it's the holiday season. Pick up your loved one that watched the show a mug. I would love to have a cup of coffee with you. Mine's decaf right now. We're being kind of crazy on the caffeine, so we're trying to simmer it down a little bit. I got enough energy as it is, baby. We can make these 2-hour-long shows, but we're not gonna. Okay? Nobody will watch a 2-hour episode of this bald Brad guy talking. He's a patriot, though, folks. He's a patriot. He has a book called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. God, you're seeing it in real time. Can you imagine if we got Trump to promote our book? Man, that'd be dope. That'd probably change my life. If you know anybody that could be a life changer, like emailing Trump saying, hey, have you checked out this guy's channel, his book? Would love your support on that one, folks. Or heck, buy the book yourself. Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I think it is on sale. We got the holiday season coming up. So moving into our next story here, we got top Biden official saying Hamas using human shields. U.S. does not trust casualty numbers from Gaza. Why would you? I mean, every day they're coming out like, oh, here's another 1,000 people. Here's another 1,000 people. It is terrible, folks, what is happening to the Palestinians. I'm not sugarcoating it. I mean, you do have thousands of people that have just completely been destroyed by Israel. It is a devastating situation, but it is also war. That doesn't mean that if you're in war, you just get to run roughshod over civilians. That is not what I'm saying. But casualties of civilians is part of war. It's happened in every war. And for some reason, we haven't seen a war, I guess, in a long time, so we forget that aspect. If you look at any major war throughout history, it's always happened. And I'm not saying it's okay, but this is the result of it. And it's something that clearly Hamas did or didn't do in their calculations when they went in and killed 1,400 Israelis, where they raped them, they killed them in front of their family members, they were beheading dead people and somewhat alive people by beheading them with gardening equipment. I mean, the list goes on and on. Throwing babies in the oven alive. This is all footage, by the way. It's insane. So why would you trust numbers coming out of Gaza with Hamas giving you the numbers? Like, why would you trust them at all? I would never trust a terrorist. Joe Biden does. I mean, Joe Biden wants to give Iran $6 billion. He wants to give Hamas, or did give Hamas, what was it, like $100 million or something like that. Yeah, he trusts them fully. So does John Kirby. We've all seen these White House press briefings. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, who's a knucklehead, by the way. This is one of the guys that was sitting there going, well, you know, Iran hasn't touched a dime of the $6 billion we want to give them after they just funded Hamas to run this whole roughshod over Israel. This is that Jake Sullivan. If you forget what he looks like, folks, this is what the guy looks like right here. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, he said in an interview over the weekend that Hamas terrorists were illegally using hospitals and other civilian infrastructure as shields inside Gaza against Israel forces. They've been doing this since 2005. This is not anything new. I've been talking about this. I mean, their tunnel system looks like freaking New York City subway system. So they're taking hundreds of millions of dollars in humanitarian aid, not putting it towards a hospital, not putting it towards humanitarian aid, not towards building their infrastructure up where they can have electricity and clean water so they don't have to get it from Israel. None of that. They decided to take it and put it towards terrorism and building tunnels, not building schools. Not for the infrastructure, not for the benefit of the Palestinians, where the Palestinians democratically elected Hamas, a terrorist organization. But then I'm getting death threats from these knuckleheads because I'm calling out Iran and Hamas. Yes, you heard that correctly. We have officially gotten death threats here on the Bald Brad Show. That is not a joke. We're in the process of reporting this stuff to the FBI and the police because shit has gotten real here. We're now, because I'm calling out terrorists, now I'm getting death threats from people. It's insane. None of your guys' fault. I know you're saying, oh, that's sorry, it's terrible. It is sorry and terrible. Thank God I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I don't fuck around. But when people start making death threats against you, it ain't fun. That's for damn sure. All because you call out terrorists. Hey, I don't want to see civilians beheaded on either side. I'm the bad guy somehow. It's insane. Iran says death to America. We want to kill every single American, wipe them off the face of the earth. We don't want to see Western civilization exist. So I call out Iran's supreme leader, basically an asshole, for saying, hey, it's not a slogan, it's a policy. I'm the bad guy, and I get death threats for saying something so freaking obvious that you shouldn't go kill people for no reason. I'm telling you, we live in a society, we live in a world that is so ass backwards, it is head spinning. It is so unbelievable. Obviously, Hamas uses civilians as shields. We've been saying it for over a decade. Obviously, they use hospitals as command centers and bases in the basement. We've been saying it for a while. So when Israel bombs the hospital, of which they sent leaflets, they went in and said, hey, you know what? Clear the place out. We're about to level it. You shouldn't be here. Move to a different hospital. Take the ambulances. What do the terrorists do? They tell everybody to stay. The terrorists use the ambulances as means of transportation. So when Israel bombs the damn thing to kill the terrorists inside, because there's no civilians, then the media runs with it. Oh, look what Israel did. They blew up an ambulance. They killed everybody inside. Yeah, it was terrorists inside. I'm not saying Israel hasn't done terrible things. Israel has. Israel has screwed up many times in their intelligence. But again, it is part of war. And sometimes intelligence does get screwed up. Maybe you shouldn't have went in and started what you started in the first place. Then you wouldn't have had this whole thing. I'm not giving Israel a pass by any means. I have no skin in the game. None. I'm just calling what I'm seeing. I've listened to both sides. I'm trying to find a middle ground here. I don't think the Palestinians should be killed. I don't think the Israelis should be killed. I think Hamas should be killed. How about that? Why is that so difficult? And so because I side with the terrorist organization being wiped out, not the Palestinians, I don't want the Palestinians to be hurt. I can't be clear, any more clear than that. Somehow, I still get attacked. So Sullivan made these remarks during a Sunday interview on CBS News Face the Nation with host Margaret Brennan when asked if the U.S. believes sports or reports on what is happening inside the territory as Israel Defense Forces, also known as IDF, combat the terrorist group responsible for murdering 1,200 people. Again, it's more than 1,200 people. So he said this, quote, without getting into intelligence information, we could just look at the open source reporting that Hamas is using hospitals as it uses many other civilian facilities for command and control, for weapon storage, to house its fighters, etc., and it's a violation of the laws of war. Of course it is. Of course it is, which is why you have thousands of Palestinians dying because, again, quote, they're using hospitals, civilian facilities for command and control. So when you're launching rockets off the rooftop of an apartment complex and the people living in the apartment complex think it would be okay to stay there, knowing that you're probably going to have your apartment complex turned to rubble, probably not a good idea to stay there. How is that controversial? No joke. if we're in war right now and I knew somebody was going to bomb the place that I live and there's some a-hole launching rockets off of my roof, do you think I'm going to sit there and go, no, it's fine. No, yeah, it's good. Keep launching rockets. Nothing's going to happen to me. You know, I'm okay. I'm not doing anything. No, I'm going to get the hell out of here. Like the moment I'm out, peace out, I would rather live in the middle of nowhere and figure my shit out somewhere else. I understand it's not so easy for people in Palestine because they only have so many places they can go because the Arab countries don't want to take them in for some odd reason, but the Arab countries hate Israel and clearly love the Palestinians but don't want to house them. I don't know why. Nobody's ever given me a reason why, but again, I'm the bad guy, so be careful. I wouldn't be here. I would go somewhere else. Anywhere and everywhere other than where they're launching the freaking rockets from my roof or they have a command center in my basement. So when you get blown up, you're like, they killed a bunch of people. I don't know, maybe the leaflets, the emails, the text messages, the sirens going off, Hamas saying, hey, you should stay. When a terrorist says you should stay, you should probably leave. If that sounds obvious, if I'm being a jerk, please let me know. Again, I've always said this is one of the main reasons of the show, why I created it, was to be able to backtrack my thinking because I'm an idiot. I don't claim to sit here and be some sort of holier than thou individual. No way. I got a lot of problems myself. I don't have my bleep together totally. And lastly, I'm not perfect in my thinking. I'm learning always from other people. I watch a lot of podcasts. I am not perfect. If I was to go and debate somebody, I would probably get my ass kicked. But I'm just an average American that's frustrated with things going on, and I would like to vent that frustration, but also look back and see, hey, how's my viewpoint changed? And have some people say, hey, you know what, Brad, this is my argument. This is why I think you're wrong, or this is why I think you're right. And then I can better myself as an individual. And also meet patriots such as yourself, because we got a freaking awesome community here. Cheers to that, huh, folks? We're going on a rant today, man. We're kicking. This Monday episode's a banger. I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm also frustrated as hell. So it's a violation of laws of war. Absolutely. I mean, would you expect anything less from terrorists? No. He noted that the IDF officials have said that they are doing everything in their power to look for ways to minimize loss of civilian life as they continue to strike Hamas targets, adding that Hamas has a track record of committing war crimes by using human shields. Now, there is a case to be made that I've heard from people that Israel's committed war crimes as well. It goes both ways. I'm going to say that probably using people as human shields and hospitals as command centers is against laws of war. But, you know, again, with all the comments I'm getting from these nutsos that want to take my life, you know, I'm clearly in the wrong somehow. I guess we're supposed to use people as human shields. We're supposed to go slaughter people in the streets, just innocent civilians left and right. And, you know, take whatever funding that's for humanitarian aid and send it to a foreign country that can use it for terrorism. So that all makes sense. But again, I'm the asshole somehow. I don't know. I'm the illogical one, you guys. I'm the one that doesn't have reason, according to these freaking crazy lefties. When asked about claims from the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry about the number of Palestinians that have been killed, Sullivan said that the U.S. does not trust the information released from inside Gaza. Why would you? Quote, we do not have fidelity on the numbers of casualties, fatalities in Gaza, he said. We don't know how many are fighters and how many are innocent civilians. You want to know why? Because they lump both together. Hamas lumps both together. You heard that correctly. So who the hell really knows what's going on? Well, also who doesn't know what's going on? It's Democrats in Chicago. Because they have a massive immigration issue over there, which is pretty far from the southern border. But Chicago migrants return to Venezuela ahead of winter. There's nothing for us here. It's so crazy, man. It's so wild. These are people that are seeking asylum, you guys. These are people that are being persecuted and their lives are in danger from their own government and these militias in their own country. And it's just so bad there that they're willing to go back. Check this out. Chicago migrants are beginning to move back to Venezuela as the city runs out of resources to house and support illegal immigrants. The system is failing in Democrat-ran cities, even though they want to espouse this whole idea that we're a right to shelter state. Oh, we're a sanctuary city. Come to us. Come to us. We'll take care of you. Okay. You do that. We're crippling. Our infrastructure's failing. You saw this with New York City Mayor Eric Adams early on, pleading with New York City residents to house illegal aliens, paying hotel fees and kicking out veterans that served in Iraq and Afghanistan who house illegal aliens. That's how Democrats run the show, folks. And that's why in our first segment, they were cleaning house in San Francisco ahead of an international summit where you're going to have Xi Jinping and other CEOs and world leaders taking up meetings and events where Democrats are so embarrassed by their city that they're finally cleaning it up just for a little bit. So now things are so bad in Chicago, in the same way that things are so bad in San Francisco, where literally a communist president from China's coming in going, this might look real bad, a communist. You have people that are allegedly seeking asylum, that are being persecuted, that their lives are so in danger that they had to flee their country, are willing to leave Chicago, a Democrat-ran area, to go back to the very thing that is supposedly so horrific that they made a 1,000+ mile trek to get here. They finally made it here. They're in Chicago and they're going, this is terrible. I'm out of here. Let that one sink in. It's insane. I use the word crazy and insane all the time. There's no better way to describe what is happening right now. It's all under Joe Biden's rule in the Democrat Party. You can't blame Republicans. We didn't do this. But somehow people will. They'll put it in their mind that it's our fault. I said I don't hate Democrats. I have a lot of friends that are Democrats. Doesn't mean that they aren't knuckleheads in some of their decision making. They do things that are good in their personal life. Policy-wise, when it comes to politics, not so much. Okay? I'm not saying Republicans do everything great. They spend a lot of money. I don't like that. I'm a conservative. But we're not like this. This is so crazy. The Chicago Tribune reported on the account of Michael Castron, probably mispronouncing that name, who migrated with his wife and stepdaughter from Venezuela to find a better life. So it's finding a better life, so he came here illegally. Because I was told, again, all these people are persecuted, their lives are in danger, it's terrible. Folks, you want to know the honest truth? A lot of these people are like this guy. They're coming for a better life, but there's a process. You don't just get to cut the line because you want a better life. There's thousands, there's millions of people that want a better life, that want to take a hold of the American dream. You don't just get to cut the line. It's so amazing because Democrats get upset when they're in like a shopping market or they're at a line for like a theme park ride or whatever, and somebody cuts the line and they've been waiting for an hour. They get pissed, right? Anybody, rightfully so, would get pissed that you've been waiting there for hours to get on a ride with your family. You paid a lot of money to do it. Some dude decides, hey, screw all you all, flips you off and said, I'm going to get ahead of everybody else. Democrats would be upset. Libs would be upset. Independents, Republicans, I don't care who you are, would be upset. Even if you don't say anything, you'd be still pissed off internally. Take that to a grand scale of you've been paying a ton of money, you've been waiting your time for years to get into this country, and some dude just wants to come for a better life just as much as you do. And you could be fleeing actual persecution, by the way. You could be fleeing a authoritarian government or whatever it may be, and have a worse situation than that dude, but he's going to cut the line, and Democrats are fully going to support it. So much so that they fully support him coming in, cutting the line, screwing you over, and kicking out our veterans that served in Afghanistan and Iraq and give them hotel fees and pay for 3-course meals. Everything for this person is insane. Can we get some shirts made? It's insane. Holy lordy. However, after several months of the family suffered from homelessness, a lack of job opportunities, and no access to better education, by early November, they had requested tickets back to their home country. It shows you the messaging from Democrats that this person thought that they would be housed, that they would get a job, and that they would be able to use taxpayer dollars to get a better education for their kids and themselves, probably. This is everything that we're going to go to these places because they said everything's going to be for free. Free, in air quotes, because, you and I are paying for it. Joe Biden's going to hit $1 trillion paying for illegal immigration before he's out of office, by the way. Let that one sink in. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Trillion, not a billion, not a million, $1 trillion. It's about anywhere from 160 to 250, depending. It's probably close to 250 now with the 10+ million people Joe Biden's let in. But over the course of 4 years, right? So 250 each year times by 4, you're looking at $1 trillion just right there alone. The American dream doesn't exist anymore, this person said. There's nothing here for us. Well, it probably would exist if you actually went through the correct process and did things the way you're supposed to do it. But because you wanted a handout, because again, you want a better life. I'm not saying things aren't great. I'm not saying things are great in Venezuela. That's not what I'm saying. But if you would have did things the way the process is supposed to work, then probably things would have been better for you. I feel bad for this person because they clearly have kids, probably. And seems that he has a wife and a stepdaughter. So he's trying to do what he can for his family, but doing it this way is not the right way. And that's easy for me to say because, I live here. But I'm also not looking to go immigrate to another country for a better life. I mean, America's the best country that's ever existed. Democrats and, well, specifically the leftists and the libs don't think so. but they'll still sit here anyways and, you know, prosper in the greatest country God's ever created, but still shit on our country. America is the greatest country on earth and has been since its inception, and pray to God that it continues to be that way. But if you're going to continue to let Joe Biden and other people in office, we're not going to have the greatest country on earth, and it's going to crumble. And you could thank the left for that, and that is why we wrote an entire book on it. You know what? We haven't shown it in a while. We got a lot of new subscribers. I wrote a book called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. It is a real book. It is a real book, folks. There's tons of pages, tons of notes for you. Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. It is a great book. It's 'tis the seasons, folks. I think Amazon's doing a deal right now. You can also pick it up at Barnes & Noble. I think Walmart still carries it. We would love your support. Get it for a friend or family, folks. We got a lot of new subscribers. I would love your support. Took a lot of time to write it, and it's going to equip you with how the left is destroying this country from the inside out. You're seeing what they're doing in real time, folks. Quote, how many more months are living in the streets will it take? No more. It's better that I leave. At least I have my mother back home. Okay, some rationale going on, but it just shows you how bad Democrats are at running things. They can't even house illegal aliens. Look at this. You guys, this is going to blow your mind right here. I swear. So let's just kind of finish this, and I want to get you to the mind-blowing part. Some migrants suggested that they have been misled to believe that they could be granted asylum immediately and perhaps receive a work permit. Where'd they get that from? Democrats. Others acknowledge that sheer number of illegal immigrants overwhelming the city have likely depleted resources. Yes. So, quote, we did not know things would be this hard. I thought the process was faster. But remember, Joe Biden, the PR, they've been very clear. You've heard this how many times from Karine Jean-Pierre? Every White House press briefing, like 10 to 20 times. Well, let me be clear on this. We've been clear on this. No, you haven't, lady. I've said this time and time again. You have not been clear. You continually not been clear. Here's the mind-blowing part. City officials reported that Chicago had received more than 19,000 migrants since August of 2022. You want to know why that's mind-blowing? Is because they can't even deal with 19,000 migrants over the course of a year. About a year. We'll say half a year. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll lowball it. Half of a year. Okay, it's been longer than that. But you understand what I'm saying right now. 6 months to a year, and that's being super polite about it. They can't handle 19,000 migrants, but Texas is supposed to handle 10,000 a day. A day. 6 months to a year, Chicago. Democrats can't handle it. Somehow Joe Biden, the knucklehead Democrats, the whole party thinks that Texas can handle 10,000 a day. I think you can do the math on 10,000, whatever that transcribes into 6 months to a year. Bunch of idiots over there in Chicago. In addition, over 68,000 Chicago citizens are experiencing homelessness. As the migrant crisis grew worse, local leaders have begun debating Chicago's status as a sanctuary city. So when it starts to affect them, now they go, man, this probably isn't a good idea. Republicans have been saying it for years. I've been saying it for years as well. Go back to our very first episodes. They're not as good, but it's you say things for so long that are so obvious, and it takes Democrats to just fully cripple their city to finally wake up and go, man, it's probably not a good idea that we're doing this. It's like defunding the police. Hey, let's just get rid of the police departments. So you get rid of the police, you defund them, they're retiring because you don't support them. And all of a sudden crime goes through the roof and you go, oh God, man, businesses are fleeing. People are leaving our city. We're going to have to increase taxes because we got a lot of stuff to pay for because we got a homeless population. We got illegal immigrants running roughshod over our cities and everything else. And we don't know what to do. God, maybe we should follow, I don't know, the logic of Republicans for once. Do I need to say it again? It's insane. It's so wild. And moving into more wild news. Oh God, it is endless. It is endless content here. Speaker Johnson proposes two-step measure to avert government shutdown. Yeah, right, didn't we just have almost a government shutdown? Yes, we did. Because you got idiots on both sides of the aisle running the show. Somehow, we keep voting for these knuckleheads. Who it is, I don't know. I gotta have another sip here, folks. I'm losing my mind. If you're loving the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Share this thing with your friends and family. Leave us a comment down below. It does support us greatly. If you're still here with us, again, please leave us a comment and hit that like button. And to just copy the link. Even if you're not going to send it, just copy it. I was told that if you copy the link, YouTube recognizes it as interaction and it supports the channel. So if you got nobody to send it to, just send it to a friend. Say, hey, click on it, watch the video, mute it. I don't care. We just need the viewership. We need the analytics. So we have a possibility of another government shutdown. It's so freaking tiring. It is so tiring. House Speaker Mike Johnson announced a two-step short-term spending measure to avoid a government shutdown. Here's Republicans caving again, folks. More money everywhere. The plan reportedly would give certain federal agencies money through the middle of January, while others would get funds through early February, allowing lawmakers in the House and Senate more time to hash out longer-term spending legislation. The deadline is November 17th. You guys, the debt is my number one issue. We're $34 freaking trillion in debt. Somebody please in the live chat or the comment section say, Brad, I understand this has gotten too far. We can't keep doing this. Do you guys understand what's going to happen at some point in our history when we got to start paying this down? You think taxes are high now? You think people can't pay their bills now? You think 8 in 10 Americans that live paycheck to paycheck right now are going to have an easy time paying for 8 in 10 Americans right now without ever having to handle this debt? Got another thing coming to you, folks. If you believe that, we're going to be hit so hard. You're going to be going 1,000 miles an hour and hit a brick wall. And you're going to be like, oh crap, this should have been taken care of before. We're all praying that doesn't happen in our lifetime. But I'm telling you what, you're setting your kids or your grandkids up for some really horrible times. We gotta start taking this seriously. I'm not saying you aren't. Maybe some of you are. But you know what? I never see anybody raging about this. Everybody just wants that paycheck. I'm saying give the paycheck. Stop spending. Like, majority of our budget is on social programs. But then you're going to have these politicians on the Republican side of the aisle. Oh, well, you know, social programs, we shouldn't be spending so much money. Then why are you funding it? Why are you funding it? God, it's a crisis, man. It's such a crisis. So he says this. Again, this is Johnson, the new House Speaker. The two-step continuing resolution is a necessary bill to place House Republicans in the best position to fight for conservative victories. Folks, I'm going to call out Republicans anytime they're being idiots, okay? Again, I can't emphasize enough. I'm a Trump supporter, okay? I'm a registered Republican. I'm conservative. Don't lump my ass in with conservative victories. When you're not a fiscal, it's not fiscal conservative. It is not. He's spinning this, you guys, to try and lump us together. It's not. I'm sorry, it is not. If you are a fiscal conservative, even though you're a registered Republican, this is not your values. This is not putting us in the best position to fight for our victories. It's not. We need to figure this issue out now. The bill will stop the absurd holiday season omnibus tradition of massive, loaded up spending bills introduced right before the Christmas recess. How about, Johnson, how about you put something through where you can't just spend more than we have? How about, I mean, it's a sentence. It's a sentence that you need to just put in. Can't spend more than what we have. How about that? Can't take out credit. They won't do it. They won't do it. They don't care about us, you guys. They don't care about you or I. That's what it comes down to. And we got to stop believing just because they're Republicans that somehow we're beholden to them. We are not. We are not beholden to them. And we are shooting ourselves in the foot by continually voting in these idiots that don't want to get our ish together. We don't get a border wall. Our cities are crumbling in some areas. We're paying up the wazoo for these social programs. Our military is getting screwed because it's the social programs that's getting all the money, even though they say, oh, well, it's the military's overspent. We should be spending money on military right now. Do you see what's happening in the world? But yet the Obama administration wanted to get rid of bases all around the country. They wanted to sit there and lower the spending on the military. They wanted to cut the military down. Biden wants to do the same thing. Trump did his best to increase it, but Democrats are fighting him in Congress on that whole thing. You got Russia invaded Ukraine. You got China wanting to go in Taiwan. You got China on the Mediterranean Sea right there with us with our carrier strike groups. You got Israel and Gaza going. The Arabs are getting pissed off now. That might wipe out Israel. Who the hell knows what's going on with that with Iran? You got the border thing that's going on. I mean, you need a military. Russia wants to start getting into things. They've gotten out with that nuclear accord now, treaty thingy mabobber. But it's okay. Let's just continue to send billions of dollars to Ukraine. Here's billions of dollars to Israel. Here's billions of dollars to countries that hate us. It's fine. We're going to just be screwed at the end of the day. You think these countries are going to bail us out when we're effed? You think these countries are going to You think they're going to send us billions of dollars when we're screwed? You guys, for decades, we've been sending these people hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars at this point. And so when we're screwed, when that day comes, because it's going to happen, it already is going to happen, when we need to be bailed out, do you think they're going to do it? They're going to flip us. They're going to give us the bird. None of these people are going to help us. When we crumble, the world crumbles. The world economy is trashed. I know I'm preaching to the choir. But people on longer episodes, folks. We're giving you longer episodes, baby. We're spending it together because we're patriots. We love this country. We got to figure this issue out. Johnson also noted that separating the continuing resolution from supplementary funding debates, such as the one related to Israel, puts the GOP in a stronger position to fight for fiscal responsibility, oversight over Ukraine aid, and meaningful policy changes at our southern border. What that means is we'll have better negotiating position, but at the end of the day, you're still fighting with the Democrat Party, and let's be frank, there's a lot of them in Congress. And you know what? The Ukrainian aid's still going to happen. The southern border, nothing's going to get fixed down there because Republicans, if they wanted to fix things, they would have fixed it by now. Or at least been, having some cojones on that whole thing. Nothing's going to happen, you guys. Nothing's going to happen. Not all Republicans were on board with the proposal. Of course they weren't. Representative Chip Roy appeared frustrated because the plan would continue funding the government at current spending levels. Thank you, Chip. Thank you. Like I was saying, that is the difference between conservatives and Republicans. Don't say, Johnson, that you have my values as a conservative when you don't. It's 100% clean. And I 100% oppose, Roy said in one of his posts. My opposition to the clean CR just announced by Johnson cannot be overstated. Funding Pelosi-level spending and policies for 75 days for future promises, he said, another referring to former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. House Republicans can only afford to lose a handful of votes in the House for the proposal to pass, or they will need Democrats to join with them to approve the measure. That's what I just said. There's a lot of Democrats there, folks. Don't believe all the foolery that's being out there and espoused to you, even from our side of the aisle. In the Senate, which the Democrats control, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's crazy, announced last week that he was setting up a vote on a stopgap bill to fund the government while urging the GOP-led House not to add poison pills or spending cuts that would not get bipartisan support, because Democrats want to have massive spending. They don't care about you. Democrats, they don't care about you either. Come join us. Come join us, fiscal conservatives, Democrats, and understand the fact that you, as much as us, are being screwed. So when I'm talking about the border and getting pissed at Democrats, when I'm talking about our localities of massive drug use, homeless crisis, crime going through the roof because it's not safe for our families and our children, I'm being frustrated with Democrats, but it also screws Democrats. When I'm talking about this and everything that's taking place, it all screws Democrats. So because Democrats are one of the reasons that have caused this, one of the reasons, that is why I keep hounding them. I don't hate them, you guys. I want to be clear with that. I have friends that are Democrats. But at the end of the day, we are all Americans getting screwed by our politicians and the leadership of this country. All right, so more lighthearted news-ish. Okay, so everybody knows that Disney is just going down the pooper. All right, and this has everything to do with actual poop. So how does Disney and poop go together? You're about to find out. All right, so obviously I live in Southern California. Before Disney went woke, I have been and probably always will be a Disney fan, and it is such a dagger in my heart that Disney has gone so woke, and I hope that they wake up, you guys. So what they've done to Star Wars and my Indiana Jones, I can't express in the words how frustrated I am that they screwed that up. How I don't have words. Disneyland Parks is probably the one Disney IP/property, both metaphorically and literally, that you can go to where you're not going to be trounced with this woke agenda. You will in some parts of it. For example, I just went to Disneyland a few days ago. I think it was November 10th when they had the first day of the holiday thing. Look, I'm not trying to push the race stuff or anything like that, but Miss Claus came out, she was black. Santa came out, he was black. Now, whatever. everybody knows Santa was pretty much created, like the cultural icon of it, like the visual of it was pretty much created by Coca-Cola. It was a white dude. Miss Claus was white. It's been that way. The story of it kind of makes sense. Okay, outside of that, it's odd to have it, all right? Everybody kind of gasped in the parade. I mean, you're talking thousands of people, and you could feel the atmosphere when it came up. It was like, oh. And people literally said, oh, because nobody was expecting that. Why? Because everybody was expecting a specific picture of who Santa is. The same way, the Ariel character, everybody had a specific picture because their entire childhood, they grew up with that image, with that icon, with that person. And when they change it drastically because they're trying to force a narrative down your throat, everybody goes, oh. Elsa, for example. I was on a Disney cruise over summer because, again, you guys, I'm a Disney fan. Elsa was black. And I was like, oh, the whole auditorium, the whole theater of the ship went quiet. And everybody's like, oh, I'm not racist. Look, if that's what you want to do, whatever. All I'm saying is that it's being thrown in your face and it's not happening naturally. If you wanted Elsa to be black or Asian or Filipino or whatever it was, then why didn't you make the character that in the first place? Or how about this for one? Why can't you just add the character into the storyline and then have it be a popular character so that if you want a black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, to be able to relate to that character, then they can do so because you made it happen naturally. Naturally. Nobody is against having people of color or minorities or whoever it is in your movies. Nobody is. That's fine. I don't care if you want to have women or what. It's fine. But just have it be natural. I know I'm on a long tangent rant, but I'm trying to bring everything together to get to the story that we're at. So, there's a big rant that I'm about to happen because Disney's really been frustrating me. So that happened at Disney parks. Other than that, you're not really shoved to this woke agenda in your face at the parks. That was kind of an example. Even that one kind of caught me off guard because I go to the parks a lot and it really threw me for a moment. Now, outside of that, like I said, things are nuts there. It's jam-packed, you guys. I mean, Disney is not hurting in terms of people going to their parks. I've been going there my entire life. I'm talking every 2 weeks I'll go. I love just to walk around, get a churro, and all that stuff. Kind of like people watch, see the crazies. It is so packed there. I don't know how to describe it. Think of a flea market, but you're shoulder to shoulder, and you're going to be waiting at least an hour or two for rides. It's wild. So, any questions about Disneyland Park, even if you're from another state or whatever, just email me and I'll hook you up with details and what you need to do and the best places to stay and all that stuff. I've been going there my entire life. So check this out. Going back to the poop thing. Disney's been running like doo-doo. Well, now Disney park guests reportedly are pooping while waiting in long ride lines. They're defecating, folks. They're defecating in the lines because they're so long. Some guests are reportedly unable to control their bowels while waiting hours in line at Disneyland theme parks. This has also happened at Disney World, where they have had to build restrooms in the middle of lines now to cater to this whole thing. And that's actually coming up here in the article in one moment. I'm in the queue for Rise of the Resistance at Disney World. Someone let their kid take a dump on the floor and then just walk out and left it. WTF. Sounds a lot like Democrat-ran cities, folks. It's the same thing. Democrat-ran Disney, Democrat-ran cities, defecating in the line at Disneyland, defecating in the streets of these Democrat-ran areas. Do you see the overlap of the common theme here? Another person claiming to be a park employee on the Walt Disney World side of things chimed in to verify the claim about the Star Wars ride theme. It was so crazy that somebody that was working there was like, no, this is real. And actually, here's a photo of it. For the skeptics, this actually happened. Fun fact, this was one of 3 incidences of the Rise of Resistance just today. 3 people took a dump in the line at Rise of the Resistance because Disneyland is so packed that people are waiting hours. Here, I understand Disney wants to make the parks accessible to everybody, but when you make the parks accessible to everybody and you just have your value of your ticket is so low that you get people in the parks that will have crime happen. That's why you see families fighting, not arguing, fighting, full-fledged fighting in there. In the parks, you have crime happening in the parks. You have vandalism happening in the parks. You have people defecating in rides at the parks. You have all treating each other disrespectfully at the parks. Why? Because it's overcrowded. People are tired. They're waiting in line. It's hot. It's miserable. You're paying $20 for a freaking churro or a hot dog or a corn dog, whatever it may be. realistically, it's $10.50 for a corn dog. It's $5 for a churro. Only reason I know this because, like I said, I go there all the time. The whole purpose is Disney has not reached remotely their ceiling of ticket prices. You guys, 8 in 10 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That means 80% of the people in those parks most likely can't afford to go there in the first place, but they're still willing to put that ticket on that card, that credit card, to go there. They're still willing not only do that, but they're also willing to buy their entire family food consistently throughout the day at the park. Meaning, it has not reached a level yet at which people are willing to not go to the park anymore. You have to increase your ticket prices. You have to. It's insane what's going there. What will happen is you're going to make the same amount of money. You're going to have less people in the parks. Your guests are going to be more happy, and you'll create more of a valued experience for the guests being there. The guests will act differently. They'll expect more. You should expect more from your employees. It should tend to be of which people are going to have more of a net positive for the company, for the experience, for the employee who wants to get paid more at the end of the day, as well as the guest park person that's visiting there, in a whole roundabout way. I think I'm being clear on this. But other people are defecating in the freaking line. Another person claiming to be an employee shared their own experience on a separate thread, writing, "Bodily fluids no longer bother me after working at Disney. Let's just say that the attraction I work at has the cast ended up dubbing the poop hall because the amount of times guests have gone there and pooped. We even put a camera up and it didn't stop it. People are literally looking and pulling their trowel down at the camera going, 'What's up?' and just pooping everywhere." Another person claiming to be a cast member chimed in to confirm their own experience with the poop alley, writing the mention of it gave them war flashbacks. "I dealt with way too many of the bodily fluids at the dang attraction." Another chimed in to confirm that kids are not the only ones behind the shenanigans, claiming that they witnessed adult-sized human fecal matter after leaving the Pop Century Resort in Buena Vista. As I mentioned, increase your prices, Disney. I know some people are going to get pissed. Well, that's easy for you to say, Brad. No, you save up for it. If I'm going to go to the park, I save up for it. I work multiple jobs. I referee. I have my career job. We do YouTube. We do some other things as well. It's not the only thing I do here. I'm finding other avenues of grinding to make money so that when I do go to something of which I saved for, I can pay for it. I think it's expensive, but clearly it's not that expensive if your park is riddled with people, shoulder to shoulder throughout the entire park. And it's so bad that now they're defecating in lines because it's so long. Increase the prices so your lines are shorter. You're increasing your revenue. You could pay your employees more. Maybe drop the price of the food there or whatever it may be, or increase the price for hell I know. If they're, clearly people are buying it. And I think that's going to solve a lot of your problems. And lastly, a little bit of an extra rant here. Can we figure out the freaking stroller situation in Disneyland? For those that haven't been, if I'm bringing this up, everybody has a stroller. Like, everybody. And it's not like the strollers we had when we were kids, you know what I mean? Where it's like just the thing that like collapses and that's it. It's like literally just, it's fabric and metal and it just collapses in and out. And it's just strictly to have your kids sit in it. And it's like the size of a chair. There's like Cadillacs strollers coming out of the woodworks. These things sit like 4 people. And sometimes they're like 2 or 3 kids wide and like deep. You got bedding in there, pillows, lunch boxes. I swear some people have to have a barbecue in there. It's insane. A little joking around with the barbecue, but not outside of that. I'm not. They got to figure out the stroller issue, man. As somebody that goes there, it's frustrating as hell. But that's my rant. A lot of craziness, a lot of shenanigans going on, folks. I'm so glad I get to share it with y'all because we got an awesome community. You guys, if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't say that. That's my personality. If I don't fully believe something, I just won't say it. Why would you? You know what I mean? What am I going to say? You guys are a terrible community? I just would not say anything. We really do. You guys email me. You ask me if I'm okay. You're saying, hey, what's going on? Like, I look at us as patriots. We're family. We're all Americans here. Democrats, independents, Republicans, conservatives, whatever we are, we're Americans. And we need to work together to make this country a better place. And I want to try and hopefully fix the messaging here because for me, it's obvious that I care about Democrats, that they're my friends, and that we're all Americans at the end of the day. So for me, that's obvious. But what I have found from doing this we're going to be going on, I think, 3 years here in February, is I'm learning a lot where people are not able to, like read between the lines, or they're not able to fill in the the missing messaging that I'm not providing. So whenever they hear about me hounding Democrats and saying Democrats are idiots, I'm not obviously talking about all Democrats, right? I'm specifically talking about people like the Squad, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Ilhan Omar, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Lori Lightfoot, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City, Bowser over there in Washington, D.C. Like, I'm talking about a specific group of people. I'm not talking about all Democrats. And for me, in my messaging, to consistently label and go for all those people individually, and then also the sector of the Democrat Party that correlates to them, would take way too long. And the hope is that the people that watch this understand that I'm not going after every single Democrat, because there's a lot of Democrats that love this country. There's a lot of Democrats that are veterans. There's a lot of Democrats that serve this country. There's a lot of Democrats that want to better this country. There's a lot of Democrats that will stand up for your rights and my rights. That's already built into the cake. And the fact that I have to say that, for me, is odd. The fact that I have to say that and that people can't pick up on that and read between the lines that I love America, and that if I love America, that also incorporates Democrats, these libs, these lefties, everybody, and that I care about everybody. I want everybody to do well. The fact that I have to like mention that I don't hate Democrats, to me, is insane. Like, it really is. But, I mean, maybe I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm finding it that I'm having to explain myself in ways that I didn't think I would. That would be, I guess, obvious, but maybe it's not obvious. I don't know. So again, I'm learning here. I'm I'm an average Joe. I'm an average dude. I do it out of my closet. You got people going, well, I'm not going to watch your show anymore because you like Israel. Okay. Like, that's fine. I do this for fun. Like, what the hell? Like, there's some people that, like, act like they own this thing or something. You know what I mean? Like, well, screw you, man. Like, I'm not going to watch your stuff. Like, okay. Like, I have patriots here that love the show, that love this country, that I'm friends with now. Like, all you in the live chat. And he's got these knuckleheads going, well, I'm not going to watch your stuff anymore. It doesn't bother me, like, one bit. If I lost everybody, I'd feel bad for the people that support the show, that are here all the time, of course, because I feel like I created a bond with them. You know what I mean? You guys in there, you know who you are, whether it's Supernatural Saturdays or every other day. So I'd feel bad because, like, I feel like I lost connection with those people. But if I lost everybody, like, if I was, like, one subscriber, I would still do this because I like doing it. Like, this, everything other, me making some money here and having this community is the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? It's what makes this an extra benefit to me. But I never thought I'd have 42, what are we at, 43,000 subscribers or something like that. I never thought, I didn't think this would happen. Okay. Sure, I said I'll give myself 5 years to try to make this thing profitable. It was a freaking joke. I didn't think it would actually happen. Now it's somewhat profitable. We're not making a killing, okay? But you'll know when we are, okay? Because we won't be doing it out of a freaking closet anymore. You guys saw what I'm working with. We got a new computer. We got a new computer, folks. We saved up a long time for that. Jesus. When I say a long time, I'm talking years. To give you a perspective, you guys, I've been saving up for this computer for 9 years. 9 years. Again, I follow Dave Ramsey. I'm very big on no debt. So it was coming, but you guys' contribution helped get that even quicker. We're actually looking about another 2 years out, but you guys contributing to the show, buying the merch, buying the book, being in the membership, you allow us to upgrade the show. And there are some things we still need to upgrade, like lighting is terrible. I mean, if you saw what I'm working with here, I know you can't see it in the camera. We need a new lens. This camera is actually Jimmy rigged right now to work with this computer. So that's why you've been seeing, like, maybe the audio might be off. Some of the videos audio has been off. I know I don't need to tell you guys this, but I like giving you kind of a behind the scenes picture of what's going on here. It works. Okay. At the end of the day, it works. We're slowly upgrading everything, but it's all thanks to you. It's thanks for you just watching, hitting that like and subscribe button. Don't feel like you need to give your hard-earned money to the show, folks. You watching, hanging out with us, hitting that like and subscribe button, trust me, that is enough. That is more than enough. If you want to go above and beyond, then you're more than welcome to. But love you guys to death. More of a long form. I'm just rambling because I want to hit an hour here. So we got a minute till an hour. We're trying to do it, trying to give some more long form content. But as always, let me know what you think about this stuff in the comment section below. I do read every single comment, whether I like it or not. There's a lot of videos. We got like almost 1,500 videos, and people still comment on old ones. So I'm constantly scrolling through, reading everybody's comments. I'll keep you guys updated on the death threats. That was seriously wild. Yeah, people really, that was a real thing. So we're gonna see if we can get that guy thrown behind bars, or gal. I don't know who it is. I don't even know if they're from a foreign country. It was all about the Iran thing. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. If you want more information on it, feel free to email me. I know some of you already do, but am I bothered by it? Of course. Of course. I'm not a bad person. I don't break the law. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Like I said, I'm a Second Amendment holder. Yeah, I don't wish ill will upon anybody unless you threaten the country or my family, and that's exactly what Iran's doing. They want to wipe us off the face of the earth. I sent out a video that was a joke somewhat about the supreme leader, and we get threats about it. But it was bound to happen, folks. It was bound to happen. It bothers me, but not enough to I sleep okay at night at the end of the day. Like I said, I'm strapped. So like I said, anybody fuck around, you're gonna find out real quick. So love you all to death. Hit that like, subscribe button, leave us a comment down below, hit that join tab, become a true American patriot today. We'd love your support. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bob Brad Show.